Hi, everybody. This is Max Farrow. Now, you're about to watch a section of a webinar that we do on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 11 a.m. When you're in our system, and where we meet with traders, and we have two other master traders on, and some brand new people, and we're going to be talking about validating our time in trading. So sit back and enjoy. I look forward to seeing you inside. Well, there's Thor, there's Chris, there's Paul. Between Chris, myself, and Paul and Thor, let's answer a couple quick questions, okay? And I want to ask each one of you this question. Well, two of you have really good experience in trading. Some of you are just starting out, so your answers should be a little bit different. And you both have different types of mentalities around trading. I want you just to think for a second. The amount of money you want to make per month, what would be the workload if you try to do anything else to make that kind of money? So for me, I want to make $6,000 a month, right? For me, I want to make $6,000 a month, and I don't have a lot of time to do it. But if I want to make that amount, I have to make the time. So if I want to make 6K, how long does it take to make that kind of money in any current situation you're in? If you're making $20 an hour, maybe $15 an hour, maybe $100,000 a year, whatever it is, what does it take to get that? What is the time that it takes to get that? For me, I got to do at least 40 hours a week to make that in my current, and that's not too bad, right? In my current occupation, my vocation, if you will, not that because I wear 75,000 hats, but I got to work about 40 hours a work week. If I went into a job and had to go to a place, that I took orders from somebody, God forbid, I'd have to work 40, maybe even 50 hours, a little bit of overtime in there to make 6K a month. What about you guys? This is Max. What about you?
Well, I'm available about 5 hours a day, so 20 hours a week. And I used to set a goal of about 1,000 a week, but I think or I'm sorry, 1,000 a month.
1,000 a month? Okay, that's pretty low, but that's obtainable.
Yeah, but I was trading small too, and doing part-time. And as things grow, I would expect to increase that. Mm-hmm. But to be honest with you, with the advent of the step bot, and as much as I'm looking forward to that, I would like to eventually get out of trading entirely and just let that do its thing, and pull some cash out on a regular basis on that.
Okay, hang on. Before we go too far down that wish, right? Love you, Thor. Don't get me wrong. What I would like to know is, how much do you want to make per month? Don't say what you should make. Thing. How much would you, right? If all else were to fail, like do you need to make this amount? What is the number that makes Thor be like, this is my business?
I would like to be about 2,500 a month.
2,500. Okay, so 2.5K, right? That's good. Now, I'm not trying to say that the other information isn't important, but what's important right now is that we're looking at time, right? So for me, it's about 40 hours. So in your regular vocation of doing, how much does it take? How many hours a week does it take you to make your 2,500 a month?
You mean my regular job?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say about 30 hours.
30 hours a week?
Yeah.
Okay. And Paul, what about you?
Right, okay. I mean, I would be looking at probably between 2 to 3K. And having said that, I work at my job, but I work at trading probably less than an hour a day.
Right.
As you can tell, I mean, if you looked at my journals, I've got 2 journals there, which is.
But how many hours a week would you work in a regular job to make this a month?
Oh, crumbs. What I'm doing now, about 38, 40.
So about 40 hours a week. Yeah, about the same. Okay. Now, listen, this isn't a play against your vocation or who you are and what you are. That's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to show you is that the amount of time that we put in, that we make to make the ideal of the money that we want to have, you know, we're forced to make these mentalities. Chris, you there as well? I don't know if Chris can, did I bring Chris out? I hope.
No, I'm here.
Okay. Now, please don't show us all up, because if you say 10K and it's like 4 hours worth of work, I'm going to punch you right in the knuckles. Chris is a pretty smart guy. He's a Newt guy from the military, and him and his whole family, they're like a whole house full of geniuses. And so what is, if playing along in the same mentality, what is it that you want to make per month? And at your regular vocation, what would it take for you to make that?
Well, I work a contract. I'm a contract guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be one of those outliers.
Right.
So in other words, it would take, now I'd be looking at, to give you a number that I'm looking at, we were just going over that this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Probably I'm looking at 5K seems to work for me.
Yeah, that resonates. Good.
And then I can do that.
Honestly,
my contracting job. Okay, I can make that in a week.
Okay, so you could split that in a week. So if you got, so in that week, how many hours did you work?
72.
72 hours in that week. So if we split that over, let me see if I can hit this here.
So if you take it, and I work a two nuke jobs.
Okay, so that's about 15 hours a week that you got working the system. And again, you know, you paid your time and to get that degree and that vocation. So don't think that I'm you know, as I told everybody pre-framed me, you know, Chris is a pretty smart guy and he's got a lot of background. So don't get me wrong, right? If I went as a nuclear or a non-destructive well tester in Nebraska, I was making $100 an hour. So yeah, I could make this in a very quick time. But what I'm trying to get to is that the vocations that all of us, whether it's you're a retail or you're commission only or you work at home or what have you, the mentality of what you want to make and time is this negligent? Is this like unexpected? You know, even with Chris's number, he said, listen, I can finish that in a week. And how many hours? 72 hours. Well, 72 hours, the man's going to work 72 hours in a week. You understand?
That's 2 weeks. That's 2 weeks.
That's right. But his concept, his mentality behind what money is compared to the time it gets him to make it, it's 72 freaking hours to make his 2.5K. He says he could do a couple a week. Okay, that's perfect. But the mentality is that when we look at our vocation and who we are, I hope I'm setting this up properly. We commit ourselves the time to value the money we make. Does this make sense? Is everybody's kind of, are you seeing this?
Yes.
Each one of us has just, you know, we're 4 different mentalities. I'm pretty sure Chris could tell me who I am, and I can't remember which one I am. But every single one of us has a different type of mentality when it comes to money and working. I value my 40 hours equals 6K. But when I go to trade, when I'm sitting down trading, what does this look like? If I'm willing to work 40 hours to get to my 6K, and the reason I'm telling you this is because I had a very unusual consult yesterday. With everything that's happened, I usually pre-frame the thing by asking the customer or the client, you know, what are you looking to make per month? That first off, are you trying to work from home as a category, right? You're either trying to work from home, you don't want your job anymore, so you're trying to replace your job, okay? Or you're just trying to supplement, right? And this work from home process is a little bit more difficult to kind of wrap around because it's sort of, you create a business structure behind this. Are you looking to do this? You know, are you looking to replace? Is this going to be part-time or are you looking to replace, right? So part-time, or replace. You know, so, and then this will give us a number. And whatever that number is, I asked them, what is the number you need to make that a reality? And so this gentleman was trying to do, he was trying to replace a job that he hated and then replace it with something that would give him $7,000 a month. Now I want you to look at this. I value my time. Chris, even if we looked at Chris's mentality behind, you know, how many hours a week he could put in to make, you know, 5K, 72 hours to make that 2.5, it's still there, but the process is the same. I asked him, what do you have per week to be able to do this? How many hours a week do you have? What do you think he said?
Okay.
Yeah. Do you see? Because the moment that we start thinking trading, we begin to equate trading with free. Right? And this is where all the advertising, all the bullshit that you see out there, that we don't value the hard work behind trading. If we told people it's hard, if we showed people it was hard, but the worth was it, the vocation was it, like this is hard work. And I don't care who you are, making 5K in 72 hours, that's hard work. Whether it's of the day or it was the time to get that vocation to be what it is. But he's put the time in. That's his mentality. You understand? We begin to pre-frame ourselves before we even begin to trade as being one of those people that I don't think I can, I can't afford to put the time in. I said, okay, let me try to help you now find the time. And he asked, well, what do you mean? He goes, I drive a truck and I work 45 hours a week. And then I come home and I have to make sure, you know, the dog's out, the kitchen table's set. And, you know, he had a great plan of everything that he had to do. Okay. And I'm not saying that he could have, he was just whining and he couldn't make time. He could have his own, you know, the validation of family, all that stuff. Right. He goes, then on the weekends, I go to my football games. I have my kids' soccer games to watch. I got to, you know, and that's fine. That's great. I'm a big proponent of spending your time with your family and making it happen for yourself. If that's your life, if you want to if you're trying to balance and be peaceful and loving and happy with your family, but if you're not happy and you have to make the change to get here, there's a big, huge Chuck Yeager issue. Who knows who Chuck Yeager is? The guy who broke the sound barrier.
Yeah, sound barrier.
His predecessors, there were two of them, died because they didn't push past that little void between the sound barrier and actually breaking the sound barrier. There's a lot of turbulence in here. And as his plane was going, as the first guy's plane was going through, he got in and he got about halfway through and he pulled back on the throttle and it broke the plane apart. Where Chuck Yeager got in, started to rumble, and he's like, you know what? I'll head forward, and just pushed and broke it. Lessons learned. But the moment some of us start feeling that turbulence of that life, we begin to pull back and we get scared and pull back. You have to understand, if you're here to trade and you're already working a 40-hour work week or maybe even more, you're going to have to get fucking creative. You're going to have to get to a point where you have to now figure it out. Yesterday, we did an interview with Victor. Listen to that interview. If you haven't listened to that interview, find it on the website. It's under the news section. Find it on our YouTube channel. Go there. Listen to it. Dissect it. Listen to what he says. This guy is a professional. Now, I don't even know if I can tell you what he does because he wants to remain a little bit, because he's in the public eye kind of thing, right? So he's always working. He's always doing something. But because he set himself the time to do it and validated that time, that's what will make him successful. He says, Max, once I found the C, this is what he told me off camera. Once I found that C, the rest of the equation just kind of, it all gets enveloped into it. It all becomes the reality for me. Because now I know when I add the volume, I get to my goal. But now my goal has changed. I can increase my goal. This number is it doesn't matter anymore. It's not a number, it's just a letter, because the goal is always going to be moving. The consistency, once the consistency is there, volume's easy. Volume is just money at this point. The consistency is equal time, okay, and patience and discipline. If you don't have these, if you don't make the time to be patient and disciplined, you won't get to the C. You won't get to the consistency. If you don't validate your time, you won't get to consistency. That's what you have to do now. As traders, you have to make the time. I know, Paul, you're a pretty busy guy, and you have a good balance with your family and work, and I know it's tough for you. And we need to get you to a different point even, because I know you're doing a lot of work for us as well, and we need to find some balance in there for you and us as well. Same thing with you, Thor. We all do. So if your dreams or your goals or your time is worth your time, then start making it happen and validate your time in training and trading. But if you're just starting out, if you're watching this for the very first time, the first thing you need to do is validate your time. Choose your times that you make yourself available. Not if you're available, you make yourself available.